We're looking live here. The motorcade has arrived here at the federal courthouse. So again, you're looking live, folks. This is the Wilkie D. Ferguson Jr. Courthouse in Miami. There you go, heavily armed officials getting out of the motorcade here, all to protect the former president as he exits his motorcade and into this federal courthouse where the arraignment will happen.
So Trump appeared in court today and pled not guilty to absolutely nobody's surprise. And before that, though, he wanted to make it known that he thinks this is all a hoax if he hasn't gotten that message to you sufficiently yet.
He did? He said that? I can't believe.
I know, it's so out of character for him.
I also love how much protection we give to traitors. It's very comforting.
Right. We don't give, we lock up heroes like Chelsea Manning. Trump gets to travel around with armed guards. But he took to Truth Social, and I know that none of you are on that site, and pretty much no one is on that site. So you probably haven't seen this yet. But he truthed out this morning. This is and he capitalized it for some reason, thug, overturned consistently and unanimously in big cases that Biden and his corrupt Injustice Department stuck on me. He's a radical right lunatic and Trump hater. Radical right lunatic, okay, and Trump hater, as are all his friends and family who probably planted information in I'm sorry, that's in quotation marks, boxes. Give it to, as if we haven't all seen the pictures of the boxes.
The concept of boxes is confusing to people, Ray.
Or the theoretical boxes. And aren't we all just trapped in boxes in life?
Yeah. Trump is a mime trying to escape from his own demise.
We're trapped in two little boxes right now. Sorry, boxes.
Very strong point.
But he finished his truth by saying they taint everything that they touch, including our country, which is rapidly going to hell. But that's not where he stopped. He continued in this next one.
I just have a quick request. Please don't refer to his posts as truths. I know he calls them that, but that's his whole plan.
I just don't think it's gonna take off, the website. And usually I say it like truth. There's a connotation there.
Truth boxes.
Right. So he lied this out as well today, the second one, and said the grand jury was never told about the Presidential Records Act or the Clinton Sox case, both exonerating, which is funny because I'm sorry, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know exactly what information the grand jury had access to. He wouldn't be privy to that. So he has no clue. Maybe they were told about both, or I really don't think the Clinton Sox thing was something a prosecutor would.
What is Clinton Sox? I haven't even heard of this until now. The Clinton, he never heard Hillary Clinton apparently wore socks. If you don't know that, that would make it very clear I should be allowed to commit treason and espionage. Hillary Clinton sometimes wore socks with her pantsuits. Oh, yeah, true.
It was actually Bill Clinton wore socks and sandals once. So it was a huge scandal.
I mean, you should be locked up for that. You should be locked up for that. I just want to make sure no one saw my toes. That's right.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
But so some Trump fans went down to the courthouse and they decided to make a little bit of a ruckus in support. Don't worry, Trump was well protected. He had all of his armed guards, but there was a little commotion. So let's take a look.
We lost Trump! We lost Trump! We lost Trump! We lost Trump! We lost Trump!
We just want to show support for our president since it's a two-justice system here.
Exactly.
We want to show that.
Where's all the paperwork on Biden?
Yeah, Biden has things like in his garage. I saw it.
As a vice president.
Right.
Not even able
as a
to
senator
declassify.
too.
I am tired of the Department of Justice, the FBI, sitting on their rear ends and not doing anything about the Hunter Biden laptop. They've had it for a couple of years.
We have an evil world, and it could be that God allows Trump to go to jail, but if he does, Trump should say, I want to go to the gulag, and I want to go in there with them, and I'll run from jail, and then we'll pull them all out.
Wow, it's a real meeting of the minds going on here outside.
I'm sorry. He had classified documents in his garage. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, Archie. Is that Archie Bunker's wife? What was that?
I really like you can tell they're trying to use the same language Trump does. The first lady said, we have a 2-justice system. Obviously, she meant to say 2-tier justice system, which is true for entirely different reasons. But, oh, that's so good. I mean.
And they had the actual Uncle Sam there, Ray. That was incredible how they got him. That's a big booking.
It's just, if those are the people who are out there supporting me, I'm just gonna plead guilty. Honestly, I don't want to be associated with this. But another Trump enabler is actually one of his GOP primary competitors, Vivek Ramaswamy, who showed his support for the former president. He also had some trouble working a megaphone today, so let's take a look at that.
This is an announcement of a letter that my campaign has sent to every other campaign in this race. I will tell you that we have sent this letter, and I'm happy to announce this is my commitment on January 20th, 2025, if I'm elected the next US president, to pardon Donald J. Trump for these offenses in this federal case.
You use my bullhorn.
Thank you. How do you do it?
You just take this, here, like that, press the button right here. Nobody can hear you at all.
Can you hear me?
Here. Use that.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Good, so I'll be fine without this. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I promise no one has to worry. This man will never be president of the United States. He will never have the opportunity to pardon Trump.
I will run this country because I'm capable. I'm incapable of running basic electronics, but the entire country and therefore the world, since America kind of leads stuff, I got you. I'm sorry, what is that? I press the button. Do I talk into the fat end that it gets amplified from, or do I talk into the microphone? Okay, I don't need it. I don't need it.
I also like the image of him using the megaphone into the microphone. What is the purpose? You've got the microphone, just stick with the microphone.
And it's more of these idiots that keep missing the greatest chance to put Trump away as competition. The guy is literally indicted for federal espionage crimes, and they're all like, I love him, he's right. This is the main thing that could differentiate me because our policies are the same, but let's support the criminal.
I really enjoyed the part where Ramaswamy held up the piece of paper. Why? You didn't need to bring it. If you just said you sent a letter, visual. We'd believe you. We don't need a visual that nobody can read.
If you have the vision of a fighter pilot and happen to be in the front row, you too know the promise I make to America.
Okay, so that was some of the chaos happening outside of the courthouse. Let's get into the facts of the indictment, of the arraignment, what he might be facing if he's convicted, which he should be convicted, but God only knows what's gonna happen. So Washington Post reported the maximum punishment for each count of unlawful retention of national defense information is 10 years in prison. Conspiracy to obstruct justice, tampering with grand jury evidence, and concealing evidence in a federal investigation all carry punishments of up to 20 years. Each false statement charge is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. If Trump was convicted on all charges, the sentences could run consecutively, amounting to hundreds of years in prison. But federal defendants are rarely given the maximum possible punishment. He does not face any mandatory minimum sentences. Now, Ben, I'll be honest, I really didn't ever, expect before the first indictment, I didn't expect that was gonna happen. I didn't expect this one to happen. So I guess my judgment here of what's likely the outcome is been a little bit skewed. So what do you think? Do you think that he's gonna be convicted?
I mean, on the merits of the indictment, he certainly should be. I read through already about 2/3 of the full legal indictment this morning, and it's incredibly damning. The evidence that they have, I mean, not only did he have documents that were marked, he was then told he had the documents, he then refused to give them back. He then put them in a bathroom that people had access to, put them in a big dining hall people had access to that any guest could go into. He then admitted to guests he had the documents, admitted they were classified. He then showed the documents to people, showed it to a reporter on record, on being recorded, not on record, but being recorded with his permission. He said, these are still classified, they're secret, but here are plans for an attack. Check this out. Of course he should be indicted, but there is no way to know because as random luck, I guess, would have it, the judge assigned to the case, of course, is a Trump appointee who has made a lot of hard to explain decisions on Trump's behalf in the past. So that sucks, Major League, but we'll see. Maybe it's too undeniable at this point, and maybe he gets a year or two in jail. Maybe he gets, that's my wish.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Although I don't know what kind of prison you could put Trump in as a former president of the United States, in the interest of protecting the safety of him and the other prisoners. I don't know. I don't know where you could put him. He'd have to be in solitary.
He's got to be in solitary, and he'd be completely fine in solitary. The man loves his own voice and his own company perfectly, but you can't put Trumpy in a box. So that's the other problem.